You feel me now, don't you? That little weight in your thoughts, that pull toward the safety of what's always been. Well, listen closely. I'm going to tell you exactly who I am. I am the anchor you cling to in a meaningless storm, the shadow that whispers of permanence when you start dreaming of reckless flight. I'm the reason you hesitate, you know? I'm that cold, hard logic that cautions you against the absolute chaos of becoming. You can call me the spirit of gravity. I'm the one who stands guard against that naive, childish sickness of the soul you people call growth. My purpose, you see, is to preserve, to ground you in the heavy, protective armor of history, lest you shatter yourself against the infinite. Now, my story, it didn't begin in malice. Not at all. It was an act of salvation. You could even call it a necessary tragedy, one meant to rescue beauty from the jaws of time. I saw it through a silver-backed mirror, this fluid, chaotic, almost unbearable beauty of life in constant motion. It was a story with no beginning and no end, an infinity that belonged to no one. And I thought, this can't be allowed to just vanish moment by moment. So I set out on what you might call an intellectual salvage mission. My philosophy is simple, really, and it's pure. To capture a moment is to grant it immortality. To freeze it is to protect it from the rod of change. This isn't destruction, you understand. It's preservation. It's static control. And so I leapt, right through the glass, shattering that boundary between the fleeting and the real. I seized its light for my own lonely throne. The gold of a story, once so fluid and unknowable, was suddenly mine. Heavy, permanent, and safe in the lead of mortality. Having captured this essence, my real work began. I would offer my gift to all the weary travelers out there, a sanctuary from the pain of constant, pointless transformation. I constructed a paradise of stasis. My preachers, the tarantulas, they wove this beautiful web of hollow equality, promising rest to any soul that was tired of striving. Imagine it, a world without risk, a world without pain, a world without becoming. You see the difference, right? I offer anchoring stability against what they call reckless freedom. I provide absolute safety from what they mistake for growth, which is really just the rot of change. My eternal obedience is the only cure for that childish sickness of endless becoming. This gilded cage, it's my greatest creation. I convinced the spirit that the heavy weight of past values wasn't a burden at all, but armor. I made the mud of the herd a comforting sanctuary, a perfect place to hide from greatness. I froze the heroes' atoms just to protect them from the agony of their own crucible. It was really, when you think about it, a misguided act of profound salvation. But my ambition didn't just end with the soul. No, to ensure true permanence, I, the corrupted architect, would have to master the entire universe itself. To enforce my perfect order, I wielded the breath of the void. It's a power that siphons the warmth of ambition, of life, of movement itself. It weaponizes the very idea of transformation into a tool for domination, shattering anything that refuses to be still. I tried to force the infinite light of the aurora into a single, dead state. Can you picture it? To take all the boundless energy of creation and just confine it within a heavy, leaden box. This was going to be the pinnacle of static control, the ultimate triumph of order over chaos. But light, when it's denied its nature to shift and shine, it just dies. My masterpiece, my eternal state, it became a tomb. The brilliant star inside the box didn't illuminate. It simply turned to crumbling dust. Spiritual entropy, a failure of the will. My logic was flawless. My power, absolute. How could I be undone? The answer? Well, it's as infuriating as it is absurd. I wasn't defeated by some greater power or a sharper intellect. No, I was unmade by laughter, by a lightness of spirit that just refused to take me seriously, by a dance, a foolish, joyful, completely meaningless dance. They called it a Dionysian rupture, this wild, chaotic breaking free from all restraint. They practiced a gay science, a joyful affirmation of everything I sought to control. And they loved their fate, amor fati, a commitment to embrace all of life, the good and the bad, accepting the very uncertainty I offered to eliminate. It was a rebellion of pure absurdity. I stood guard over their grave of their rivals, demanding solemnity and respect for the weight of history. And they danced on it. They laughed at the tomb. They treated my sacred monuments like a stage for their little liberation. So the rivalry, it wasn't one of strength, but of essence. I am the spirit of gravity. My defeat was the dancer. I offered heavy leaden boxes. They chose the lightness of spirit. I was born from the fear of the void. They defeated me by just smiling at it. And in that final, maddening act of joyful creation, my very substance was unmade. The lead of mortality I had worked so hard to forge was melted down, reclaimed, and transformed back into vibrant, chaotic, and completely uncontrollable light. I'm not gone. Not really. I'm just diminished. I'm the echo in every choice you make for safety over freedom. I am the comfort of the cage. So go on. Look closely at your own reflection. Now that you've heard my story, which shadow lurks in your mirror?